Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to winterize your pressure washer. And this is specifically important if you live in a cold climate like the winters are here in Canada. And here's the power washer I'll be doing this on today. It's a vertical shaft engine, so the pump's going to be located underneath the unit in this case. However, if you have a pressure washer with a horizontal engine, the pump will be located right in the open here. And the same procedure on how to winterize these units will apply to both of them. To start off with, I'm going to show you how to prepare the engine for storage, and after I'll show you how to prepare the pump for storage. So to take care of the fuel system for the winter time, there's a few options that you have. You can add fuel stabilizer to the fuel tank and run it for a while till it gets in the carburetor, or you can run your pressure washer until it runs out of fuel. Now in this system here, if I'm going to run it dry till it runs out of fuel, I do have to keep pressure or water flowing through the gun. Some power washers need water flowing through the pump in order not to burn it out. However, check with the manufacturer or your owner's manual to make sure that you properly do this if you're going to run it dry. However, what I do is I actually drain the fuel right out of the system. Now you can get an old turkey baster and suck out the fuel if you want. And this is very easy to do. Simply open the fuel tank up, suck out the fuel, and safely dump it into a container. Now be extremely careful if you're going to do this because fuel is extremely flammable. However, what I'm going to do today is remove the fuel line from the fuel tank just to be able to drain it quicker. I'm just gently going to pry on the fuel line to get it off the connector, and do this in a well-ventilated area. Now if you leave the cap off the fuel tank, it will drain much faster. And once you're done draining the fuel tank, make sure to dispose of your fuel properly. Now you can reconnect the fuel line. And I'll just put the fuel clamp back on. Now I'm going to put a rag under the carburetor because personally I like to drain the carburetor from all its fuel. And what I'm going to do here is loosen the carburetor bowl nut. Now this may be a bit more advanced for some watchers, but only do it if you feel you're capable of doing that. Fuel's going to come out. And you can let it sit there a few minutes till it's completely drained. And while I'm at it, I'm actually going to remove the carburetor bowl and make sure that the carb's clean inside. And sometimes you'll find a bit of sediment at the bottom and you just clean it out and put it back on. Now what I'm going to do is let the carburetor dry for a few minutes and then reinstall the carburetor bowl. This way here you're absolutely 100% sure that there's no fuel that will cause any problems in your carburetor. Also, if you have a carburetor like this one, you want to make sure that the bowl nut jet is clean as well. And now I'm going to reinstall the carburetor bowl, make sure that the O-ring is in place here. And I'm just going to tighten up the bowl nut. And I'll just reinstall your fuel cap. Another important part is to remove the spark plug from your unit. Now what I like to do is spray some engine fogger or engine storage spray inside the spark plug hole. Just spray a few shots right inside the spark plug hole like this. And then turn your engine a few revolutions. It's going to make sure that the engine spray gets all over the cylinder and piston. Since this spark plug looks pretty old, I'm just going to replace it with a new one. This one's a Champion QC12YC. And now just simply reinstall your spark plug. And don't forget to reattach the spark plug boot. And it doesn't hurt to check the condition of your air filter as well. And this filter here doesn't look too bad, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. The last thing I'm going to do to prepare this one for storage is replace the engine oil. On this specific pressure washer here, you have to go underneath with a ratchet with an extension like this. It's a 3/8. And the oil plug is right under here on the engine. And here's the view from underneath. And that's why you need the extension. It goes right into the plug. Now if your pressure washer has a horizontal engine, your plug will be right here. Now the reason why it's good to replace the oil is to make sure you have no moisture in it because of the environment that these machines work in. It's very easy to get water in the oil. And now I'm just going to reinstall the oil plug. And make sure to dispose of your oil properly. You can usually take it to your local landfill site on certain days or take it to your local garage. They may accept your old oil. In this power washer, I'm going to put some Castrol HD30. It's an SAE 30 oil. I only use my pressure washer in the summer months, so this oil will be perfect. And I'm just going to check the oil. And you want to make sure it's at the proper level here on the dipstick. Now that's it when it comes to preparing the engine for storage, and I'm going to show you what to do for the pump and the gun as well. To start with, I'm going to disconnect the gun from the pump. Now you may have some water that comes out of the pump, that's normal. Now you don't want any water left in the gun or the hose. Oftentimes just pressing on the gun will release the water at the bottom of the hose. Just as you see here. And you want the whole line drained. Once I've got it drained, I like to roll it up nice and neat, and I do not hook it back up to the pump. Now when it comes to putting away the pump properly for the wintertime, you have two options. You can use RV antifreeze, or you can use this spray can of Pump Saver. Personally, this is my preferred method because it's nice and quick. If you're using RV antifreeze, what you have to do is hook up a short garden hose to the intake part of your pump. This is the same connector that you hook up your garden hose to when you use it in the summertime. Now what you would need is a short garden hose, maybe 2 feet in length, and then you would pour in the RV antifreeze in the hose until it comes out the outtake part of the pump. I'm going to drain the soap solution tank over here. For this, all you have to do is disconnect it at the pump over here. And just put it in an appropriate container. Now in this case here, you could put some plumbing antifreeze in the soap solution tank. It's going to go through the valve here and the hose, and then you're absolutely sure that there's nothing left there to freeze. Once you're done draining it, just simply reconnect the hose. And I'm going to show you my preferred method using the Pump Saver can. And by the way, this product's made by Briggs & Stratton, and it's part number 6039. There is a link underneath the video to where you can buy this can directly online. Now what you need to do is connect this in the connector where your garden hose normally goes in. Make sure it's nice and tight. Now you'll need to pop the cap on the can. Now I'm going to spray the can until the foam comes out this connector. And make sure to put a container underneath. I'm going to run a bit through to make sure the whole pump is saturated in it. And that's good. And now remove the can from the pump. Personally, I like to turn the engine over a few revolutions after the foam's in the pump to make sure it gets everywhere. Now make sure that the engine switch is in the off position when you do this. And you can save the can for next year because you don't have to use the whole can to do one pump. And after you do this, there's just a little bit of cleanup to do. Also, if you're wondering on how to put away a lawnmower for the winter time, I do have a video that shows how to do that, and the link is underneath today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and have yourselves a great day.